Hi, I'm Charlene. I'm 21 and I'm Eurasian.
Hi, I'm Dana. I'm 21 years old and I'm Malay.
I'm Darshna Well. I'm 23 years old this year. I'm an Indian.
My name is Daimko. I'm currently 19 this year and I'm Malay mixed Chinese.
Well, because being Eurasian, people don't really know who or what Eurasians are. So they just think that I'm not Malaysian. I'm from a different country called Eurasia, which is not true.
My most common first stereotypes that I face daily will be that because I'm Malay, people find me that I'm very lazy, I'm unmotivated, and it's so hard for them to approach me.
Like, we're Indians, people tend to judge us like we get drunk and then we fight, cause problem, gangsterism and all.
I'm Malay. People believe that all Malays believe in the same thing. We can take a look example in the anti-ISIL rally. We know there are progressive and there are conservative Malays, so we don't think alike. So when a Chinese person see me in the train, no, I don't want them to go to China.
Well, basically what happens is you're under the category of line. So you're not one of the other. You're not Indian, Chinese, or Malay, which is the standard basis we have in Malaysia, or Sabahan or Sarawakian. So people get confused. So they don't really look at you as part of Malaysia. They look at you as like a separate. We call you foreigner lah, basically.
It's hard for me to make friends and also to socialize with other people outside from my race.
Well, you know, when you're an Indian, when you pass by a car and people are in the car and they're looking at you and then they'll be locking the car doors. They'll be scared and all. Roadblocks. Indians, if you're an Indian, you'll be blocked in all the roadblocks. You'll be scared of roadblocks and all.
I know friends that their parents, they try to keep them away from me when I come to their house. It's what the older generation believes. That Malays like to do drugs, so they assume I'm going to teach the children to smoke weed.
When I was 9 years old, a teacher of mine, basically she was a Tamil teacher, teaching Tamil POL class in primary school. And what happened was, so all the Indian kids would be able to learn or speak in Tamil, and we had 2 Chinese kids in our class. So every time we had spelling bees or any quizzes or anything, I wouldn't be able to answer. Neither would the Chinese kids, right? So what happened was she would excuse the Chinese kids, be like, oh, you know what, it's okay, don't worry about it. But for me, I'd get like, you know, like the rotan with the big ruler and all. She'd actually rotan me and like single me out in class, fling my book and all. And her only excuse for that was, you look Indian, so.
The most common one will be because, as you guys can see, I'm actually wearing a tudong. So people will think that I am very close-minded. I'm not open-minded at all. So in terms of communicating with me, it's gonna be very hard for them. So they don't really, you know, like to socialize with Malay because we are said to be very close-minded.
Older people from other culture, they tend to judge you by the skin color if you're an Indian.
It all comes down to history. When you look into our constitution, Article 153 gives Malays the special position in society. So when other races see me, they like to assume that I'm lazy, I'm uncompetitive, and spoon-fed by the government. Well, they have to understand that just because the majority takes in all the government assistance and they behave this way, it's not all of us. It really isn't.
Definitely, because if we are not open to other races or other cultures or things that are different from the standard things that are in Malaysia, I don't think we can really live in harmony without fully accepting one another.
Actually, For me, it will, because if you look into like in terms of industry or in terms of job opportunities, right? Let's say if you compare to Chinese and Malay, Chinese will most likely to get higher paid compared to Malay because of their education background. And now you guys can see that most firms are owned by Chinese, so it's hard for Malay to get into Chinese firms, and it's hard for Chinese to get into Malay firms.
Well, to be honest, yeah, because the younger generation, they tend to follow their parents' footstep. Bagaimana acuan, gitulah kuenya.
Definitely yes. Because the problem with stereotypes and prejudices is that it does not only affect the people around us, but for future generations to come. Also note that nobody is born a racist. It is taught. And one more thing, if we can't overcome this together, we will only be divided as a nation.
I think genuinely we just evolved from how we used to be. We're different people now, and I think in general we are just looking at things and learning things that are different. We are understanding each other more. So I think that's what contributed to the harmony that we're living in.
It is more into like how we are brought up in our daily lives and how our parents taught us to, be friends with all races, Indian, Chinese, Malay, even other races than the three major races in Malaysia. And also it's because of education background. You know how in schools we have local schools where Chinese, Indian and Malay are together.
I'm an Indian. Look at me. Like I grew up in a Chinese school, so yeah, I get to mix with a lot of Chinese. We play basketball and all together, and then yeah, there's Malay students as well. We join together, and then during festival we go to their house, to celebrate festival and all. So yeah, we don't have that kind of mentality like racism.
A lot of factors actually. From living in multi-ethnic communities, high schools, we share the same experiences and cultures. We can say that the spirit of Malaysia has been ingrained in us since we were young. Of course, politics gets in the way sometimes. Politicians, they love to play the race card, and sometimes it may work. But deep down, we all know that we're all truly Malaysians.
I can see the sky, the birds are flying